Well, after our international diversion with the Nations League, it's back to the Spanish leagues, back to the Segunda Division B as we approach the halfway point in the season. So, hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Dodgy Gamer here with episode 14 of Andorra, the double challenge, the Build a Nation challenge, in which we take over FC Andorra in the Spanish Segunda Division B and the Andorran national team and try to raise them both up to glory. Now, there's no cup final today. That's not the reason for the tie. It's just because I got home from work a bit later than normal, so I haven't got changed yet. Anyway, I thought I'd strike while the iron was hot and get the content rolling out, keep it going. We're up to December now in the league, so we finished the Nation League's campaign. We're waiting on the World Cup draw, but for now, we're back to the club. And here's my manager performance review so far for the season. I'm on a B-, so not too bad. They're all pleased. Plenty of positives. I'll talk about Didier Digard in a minute, the captain. Pleased by his performances. Lots of support, positive atmosphere, and so on. They do, I noticed this board, get very, very disappointed about certain results, like a 0-0 draw with Calahorra. If I show you Calahorra, and they have dropped off a bit recently, you see Calahorra are currently 6th. At the time we had the 0-0 draw with them, we were 6th, and they were 4th. And we've since swapped places, so, you know, I don't think that was a bad result. The board seemed to think it was terrible. So we have not had a look at FC Andorra since the actual first game of the season. That 3-1 win at Lleida, and then we've had 3 episodes on the international scene. Well, I'm just going to quickly bring you through the results. You see, they've not been too bad. It's better than last season, at the very least. You've already seen where we are in the league table. We did, after that Lleida, that was, a little bit of a early false dawn, I guess we can say. We struggled in the next couple of games. Hospitalet is a 2-2 draw, and again, this got me worried. It was that thing that was happening to us last season. Late goals, we were 2-0 up with just over 10 minutes left, and we ended up drawing 2-2. Simon with a brace, though. That was good to see. Then we went to Getzo, and we lost 1-0. Very frustrating game, that one. They scored in stoppage time and injury time. We dominated the second half, but just couldn't score. Then an absolute barnstormer of a game against Agia. You see, we took a very early lead. We doubled it. We were cruising at half-time. Then we somehow ended up going 3-2 down. We got back in it, Cortina with the goal to level things off. They had a guy sent off, Joe. Who are you, Joe? Joe Mama. And then it was Simon, late on, grabbing the winner. This time, we got the late goal. Fantastic. Sestao. We beat them 2-0. Again, a late goal. It was Martinez this time in stoppage time. But then, the frustration started setting again. Harrow, not a particularly great team in the division mid-table side. We had the lead. They equalised. On the 82nd minute, then against Real Irun, we had the lead. They equalised at the end of the half-time. And then they got the winner with 15 minutes to go. Badalona, then it was 2-2. I mean, we scored twice at the end of the first half, and they scored twice in the last 12 minutes. That was a real sickener. October, as you can see, was a much better month, and it started off with a 2-1 win away to, at the time, league leaders Atletico Bilbao Bay. We pulled that one out, and this time again, we got that injury time goal. Moha getting it on 90+2. And that put us on a mini run of wins. We then beat Arandina 2-0, Simon and Akale with the goals. Cornelia, an interesting one. They've actually just picked up their first win of the season. They were at one point, they had a record of played 16, lost 16. They actually gave us a tough game. They took the lead. We had to fight for it. We needed a late winner again. They had a man sent off in stoppage time. That run kind of came to an end against Sabadell, who were a bit of a thorn in our side last season. They were the better team, basically, on the day. This is the draw with Calahorra that the board was so unhappy about and still moaning about. But never mind. Baracaldo next, a 3-1 win away. Perez with the late goal this time, just to secure that. Then another 3-1 win to Delano. This time, Carvillo got a couple of goals. It was more of a comfortable win. They got a goal late on, but it was consolation. Didn't matter. Espanyol B, we beat 2-1. Carlos Isaac and Simon with the goals. And most recently, we played third-placed Atletico Pamplona B away from home. 0-0 draw, so I'm pretty happy with a 0-0 away against the team that are above us. Which brings us up to today, finally. Fuenlabrada, currently second. They have led most of the way this season. They've kind of been trading places with Atletico Bilbao B. Now, they're on a bit of a poor run. They've dropped quite a few points through November where we've been picking them up, so I'm hoping we can sneak away in today. Tactics-wise, I've mainly been sticking with the 4-2-3-1 here. I have used the other tactics on occasion. I've used the other tactics about twice each, maybe. What I've been trying to do, though, is just to build up that consistency. We are one of the better teams in the division, so we're sticking with this just with a few minor tweaks. I'm also making an effort to stick with the same core players as much as possible. We do make a few minor changes here and there. We've got one forced on us today, unfortunately, because of injury. Our first choice goalkeeper, Banuz, is out of action. We'll just have to manage without him. Yeah, I tried to stick with the same core team, which meant some players being left out of the squad a lot more than I would normally do. I normally rotate a lot more, but I think after last season there was a bit of inconsistency in the team. The team needed to gel a bit more, so that's what we've been trying to achieve. I've also been reacting to my players a bit more. When I do make a change, if someone's had a bad game, we've had a couple of times, for example, where Riverola, for example, has been pretty anonymous in a match and's got 6.3 at the end of it. I'll drop him then for the next week. I'll tell him after the game that I wasn't happy with your performance, and then I'll drop him just to make my point. Same with training. Anybody who comes through with a negative training report, I will talk to them about it, criticise them, and then I will drop them for the following match. But if they're playing well and they're training well, they keep their place in the team. It's that simple. A couple of changes I've made over the last few weeks. Cortina here was playing in this deep-lying playmaker role, but I got a reminder from my assistant that he actually, when he signed, I promised him I would play him as an attacking midfielder in an advanced playmaker role. So we've been doing that for the last couple of games. Also, Didier Digard, our captain, he came up to me to complain that he was being left out too often. We went through the usual thing where, I told him, I don't think you're playing well enough. There are other players in the team who are in form. He disagreed. He stuck in. He's a bit stubborn. But as he is the captain, I ended up going with the line that, okay, I'll put you in the team, but you better make the most of it. We put him in the team. I didn't change the role, so he's not in his best position, but he has been playing well. He's responded to it well. You see, his last 5 games, he's got a 7.24. He's even bagged a goal and set up a couple of others. So that's been interesting to see, for once, a player responding to that challenge coming out of a player conversation. All right, change of plan, coming back to my earlier point. This is kind of turning into a little advanced tips like Old Lady Plays does. But Didier Digard, he's been highlighted as not having trained particularly hard this week. So that gives me an excuse to drop him. Anyway, this week we had a TV game. Fuenlabrada always seem to be the TV game for some reason. As you can see, they're on a bit of a losing streak, having lost their last 3 games. We are hoping to pile on the misery today. So we've got to sort out their selection, get rid of Digard. Alright, they've come here with a 4-4-1-1. Hopefully that's going to give us a bit more space there in defence. Anyway, we're going to assertively say, come on lads, show me what you can do. Has motivated a couple of them, and we'll hopefully motivate a couple more. Yes, motivated a few of them. They've been interviewing me a lot ahead of this game. I've had a full-on press conference. I've been interviewed about a couple of players, and so on. I've had a player put, a player that doesn't get anywhere near the first team put in a transfer request. Okay. Asking me a lot of questions here. Come on. It's not a press. I've already done a press conference. I don't need a full-on match interview. Anyway, attack and throwing for us. Martinez with it. But we've given it away Fuenlabrada. I'm going to pronounce that about 10 different ways, I'm sure. Oh, Perez with a peach of a goal. What a strike. So early in the game, his 4th goal of the season. Fantastic stuff. Just as it looked like they were going to launch a counter-attack. Beautiful ball out of defence. Perez, one touch, strikes it across the face of the keeper. We've taken the lead. All right then, goal kick. Launched forward. Oh, yeah, we've got it, Cortina. And it's played through to Simon by Riveriola. And good save from the keeper. He was offside though, so we don't get the corner. I have to say though, apart from that opening goal, there's not been much action. That's been our only shot that's counted. They've dominated possession. They've had a lot of shots, but none on target, which suggests to me they're having a lot of shots from outside the area. Ooh, referee let that one go. Looks like our opponents, Fuenlabrada, are going to make their first break as the Pyrenees rain starts to fall and come down with a force. Carlos Isaac, ooh, he's lucky there was nobody out there wide. That's part of their formation, I guess, with a flat 4 in midfield. But they've kept the ball. We've got to get away. We've got to get a quick break here. And here it comes. Simon charges into the box and goes for the shot. Just like earlier with the one that was called offside. Almost a carbon copy of that. This time we do get the corner, but the keeper acrobatically catches the ball. Well, although we're leading, I'm going to demand more because we're just not playing that well. I think we got a bit lucky with that early goal. Right, so we told them, no getting complacent here, which I think has resonated because, we haven't played that great. If we look for anyone playing particularly badly, the midfielders, Martinez and Guerra, they're not having particularly good games. Simon isn't either. We'll perhaps give Didier Digard a reprieve and put him back on despite his poor week in training if Guerra doesn't buck his ideas up. Has a little bit. He went up to a 6.6 briefly. Right, Calvillo is coming on for Martinez. This is the other thing I've been doing in addition to dropping players. I'm just being a lot more ruthless when somebody's not having a good game. I'll just pull them off if I've got a decent substitute for them. So that's done for Martinez and Guerra. They haven't played well today. Brought on the substitutions in their place. Okay, I'm going to give them a bit of praise because we have kind of taken the game by the scruff of the neck in the second half, although we haven't had any goals. Oh, well, there we go. Just to contradict me, it's Simon with his 10th goal of the season. Beautifully taken from the corner. Let's have a look at the replay to see how that came about. So, Riverola with the in-swinger. Simon just ghosts through the defence and gets it on the volley. Fantastic. Alright then, one last substitution just to kill a bit of time, but I think this is going to be a fairly comfortable win. That's a game that a few weeks ago I would have been worried about. Much better second half performance, although we didn't see many highlights. Look, in the end, based on the stats, you've got to say that was a deserved victory. Pleased with the result and your performance, and we march on to the next week. That temporarily puts us second. Of course, the teams immediately below us still have to play, but it's only Atletico Pamplona B who can actually overtake us at this point. Perez again after a man-of-the-match performance against Gibraltar in the last episode. Man-of-the-match performance for FC Andorra here. What a find. What a find. 12 caps now, 4 goals for Andorra. 4 goals this season. If we have a look at his history overall, look at that. Much improved on last season. Look at the average rating, 7.28. Long may it continue. Looking at the schedule, we've got a mini winter break coming up. A couple more games before that to bring us up to the halfway point in the season. Somewhere around there in January, we're going to have a Spanish Cup game. So we may come back for that, or we may just play through a few more games and bring you back. I'm going to try and get through this one quickly because I'm hoping that, the playoffs are going to be a possibility. If we are in the playoffs, it looks like we will be. If we are in the playoffs, that's going to add a lot of episodes to the end of the season. So I think we'll maybe come back somewhere around February, though we wouldn't want to show Fuenlabrada again. Maybe for Atletico Pamplona B or one of these other teams here. We'll pick an interesting game for you. And that will be our next episode, of course, Andorra's World Cup qualifiers are going to start around here as well, so that's something to think about. But although the board still claim to be overall disappointed with the results we're getting on the pitch, I mean, we are on a winning streak. At least I got an A- for that last game, so we shall leave it there. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please hit that like, thumbs up button if you've enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you haven't done so already. Drop me a comment down below. Go and check out the Discord. Check out the Passion for FM Discord as well. All the links to that are down in the description below. But for now, I'm Dodgy Gamer. See you again soon.